Hello, everyone, and welcome to Plane Time here in beautiful, or actually Oviedo, Florida. And we're here at the sets of Gizmo Productions USA. Thank you very much, Mike. And we are proud to be here for the Florida Aviation Network, and that's a project of the National Aviation Safety Foundation. We just welcomed our affiliates, and thank you so much for all the support and the help, the guidance that we get from our folks out in the field. And this is a 100% volunteer organization. The importance of that is that everyone that helps put these productions on are here because they want to be. And there's something that they can gain from that structure that Obie Young shares with them and pounds into their head. But we love having that assistance, and as a matter of fact, Dante and Isabella and Kylie, their combined age would be under 60 combined, maybe 55, I don't know. They're young, and we encourage our youngsters and our young folks and young adults to get involved in aviation, particularly aviation maintenance. And the safety is the crux. I mean, that's just the bottom line. That is the foundation. And today we have a guest here all the way from Pennsylvania. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say it right this time, Harrisburg, is where he came in from. But he's with a little organization that flies people around called Piedmont Airlines. And Mike, welcome to Plane Time.
Ben, thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
And I know it is a pleasure to be here. We were talking a little bit earlier about how passionate this man is, but one thing I want to remind everyone, we're somewhat successful in aviation. To be successful, you don't have to be bald, old, and fat, okay? There's other ways to be successful in aviation. It's okay if I'm kind of partial to bald, old, and fat, but I'm not fat, robust, full-bodied.
Big boned.
We're full, heavy boned, yeah. Big. But Mike, what is your role with Piedmont Airlines?
I am the maintenance base manager at Harrisburg International Airport for Piedmont Airlines maintenance facility. What we do is we bring our aircraft in every night, and they go through regular inspections and then repairs of any equipment that might fail during the day or during the week.
That's a big role.
It is.
It's a big role. And as a matter of fact, the importance of doing things right in aviation is just paramount. We don't do it any other way in aviation. And the folks that are watching this right now, as a matter of some housekeeping, is Wings Credit. Are you familiar with the Wings program and the piloting aspect?
Vaguely, yes.
Okay, Wings Credit will give you the code at the end of the program, only at the end of the program. And we encourage you to share that information. And if you aren't familiar with the Wings program, get familiar. And that's going to be part of our takeaways. Mike and I are going to be talking today about resourcefulness. Mike, you hire and fire. Unfortunately, firing is part of hiring. I hate to use the term, but maybe releasing or letting go. What do you call it?
Letting go.
Okay, that's a polite way to do it.
Right.
When you are interviewing a potential mechanic, what are some of the things that you look for in your interviewee?
I'm looking for the personality that's going to fit into our culture. Safety first and foremost in the aviation industry, safety. Like you said before, it's paramount. Is this individual willing to get on board with our safety program, our maintenance policies and procedures, which are based around safety as well? Is this individual going to be a team player? Are they actually capable of working alone? Because in the aviation industry, you might be working as a team and you might be working alone. It's a process that takes a fairly lengthy amount of time to actually sit down and converse with this individual and find out, are they a good fit for us or are we a good fit for them? This is a two-way street. Somebody's looking for a career and we're looking for somebody to have a career. We want to have somebody for 42 years. We have a lot of mechanics that have well over 40 years, and we have a lot of mechanics that are less than a year. But we're looking for a mechanic that wants to come to Piedmont Airlines and make it a career, be part of our Piedmont family and be happy in what they're doing. Want to come to work every day.
That is the absolute takeaway for Piedmont today, and to help Piedmont in their goals and objectives is to make sure that we have enough warm bodies out there to fill the slots. And that's one of the reasons that we're so excited to have you here today to talk about the importance of our maintenance training and getting involved in maintenance. Why would somebody get involved with aircraft maintenance? And if you don't love being around an airport, if you don't love the smell of avgas or Jet A, it may not be right for you. And that's okay, because it's not for everybody. But for the ones that it is right for, I get kind of choked up, teary-eyed, going about what we were talking about earlier, about the passion involved with it. And you don't do it because, well, it is getting to be kind of cool, because and I'm going to let you talk a little bit here in a second, but it opens up so many conversations when somebody asks, Mike, what do you do? What's your job?
I'm an aircraft mechanic, and then,
Really?
Yeah, exactly. And that statement leads to another question, which leads to another statement, which leads to another question. And next thing you know, you've got a 45-minute conversation going on about what you do and how interesting it is and how rewarding it is.
I understand it. And how do you get into what the importance is? And I understand that's a very, very stressful career.
It can be, yes. But it's stress. Stress is something that basically is self-induced. And if somebody is going to stress out about a problem on an aircraft, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That means that they care about what's going on. They're concerned about what's happening. Any person that flies on an aircraft needs to know that that aircraft has been looked at by a qualified aviation maintenance technician, and that the person that worked on that aircraft is concerned about that aircraft's safety and the safe flight. So it can be stressful, but on the other hand, once you see that airplane leave in the morning after you've worked on it, even though you may have stressed over an issue that happened that evening, you fix the aircraft, you know it's flying away, and you know that people are on the way to either their vacation or their meeting safely, the reward kicks in.
And and you also know that it was done right.
Exactly.
And it's a very gratifying, and again, we're getting back into what makes us tick and what gives us the passion of, wow, that airplane just took off. I had my nose underneath that cowling, and I was the last one to close that cowling after doing a pretty important job. And there are times, and how many times, Mike, in your career have you woken up in a cold sweat at 2 o'clock in the morning? Did I safety that last? I know the phone rang, but did I finish the safety? What are you going to do? You're going to get up.
That's exactly right. Yes, that has happened on a number of occasions. A really neat example of what you just said, Ben, is we've just had a mechanic retire. He spent 22 years in the Air Force and then came to work for Piedmont, and he just retired with over 20 years. He called me up just to talk yesterday, and his comment to me, very first comment was, did I do everything before I retired? Is there anything that I need to come back and take care of? What does Piedmont need from me, even though that I'm retired, that I may have overlooked before I left? And that just tells me this was one heck of a mechanic who has the perseverance and the wherewithal to think about, have I got everything? Have I got all the ducks in a row for this, for the safety of flight, for what's going on with our airline? So yeah, there are times that you might hop up and say, did I leave a screwdriver in the wheel well? Did I leave my wrench in the flap well? Did I make sure that I've got all my tools where they need to be? That's a big factor in aviation maintenance, is accountability for parts, tools, and anything that might be what's called foreign object damage.
Do you, darn it, I was going to jump into you on using acronyms.
Okay.
Foreign object damage, FOD, FOD. Normally, you maintenance guys come out with, you FOD'd it out. Well, FOD, what does that mean? And we're so fast in this industry to use acronyms. I will try to slow you down, and because it just rolls right off your head. But
right.
for the benefit of those folks listening, of what these acronyms all mean. But Mike, the resourcefulness, and this is section 1 or segment 1, And when we get into segment 2, we're going to really drill into this, but the resourcefulness and how important is that to someone that might be thinking about becoming an aircraft mechanic. And right behind that little red tally light there, somebody's wondering, I've kind of been wanting to get involved with aircraft maintenance, but I don't know how to do it. Ooh, or I can't find, what did we talk about earlier? The word can't.
Can't shouldn't be in the dictionary. as far as I'm concerned, there's always ways to find a way to get something done that you want to get done.
How about if I want to be an aircraft mechanic? How do I go about that? And this is backing way out.
Yeah, that's really simple. I mean, you can go online and just type in aviation maintenance technology or aviation maintenance technician and start doing research on what an AMT does, how to get involved with an AMT program. There are numerous schools throughout the country that you can get in touch with to ask questions. You can even go to an airport and just knock on the front door of a general aviation hangar and say, hey, I got a couple of questions for you. If you're interested in it, go out there and do it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no I can't. Most every business out there that's hiring aircraft maintenance technicians has got a website. If you're interested in a company, if it was Piedmont Airlines, we have our own careers website that you could go to and do some research on what's involved with becoming an aircraft maintenance technician.
You can find the answer, but to find it, you have to be looking. And the aspects of how easy it is to get involved. The hard part is not allowing the distractions to pull you off of what your goal is. You got to have a goal.
Right.
And did you ever think that you would aspire to being a base manager?
I can't say that I ever aspired to be a base manager. I started off in the avionics section of aviation, which is aviation electronics. And I moved up through the ranks of aircraft maintenance technology with Piedmont Airlines. I actually did not have my AMP license until I got this position in Harrisburg. I actually had to go and get my AMP license in order to hold this position.
Good for you.
Yes. So it's not that I aspired, but I was hungry for more. Just being a mechanic wasn't enough. I wanted to be involved with the betterment of the company. I wanted to be involved with deeper into what's going on with our aircraft and our fleet and how they fly. And just being a mechanic wasn't enough. There might be, you might be out there saying, hey, I just want to work on airplanes, and that's perfectly fine. But if you're interested in moving up and you're hungry for more, this is a great industry to get into, especially now, because there are a lot of mechanic shortages out there right now. We need mechanics.
It is a target-rich environment.
That it is.
And I want to thank our production crew. Every now and then they're dropping in some photos that, makes it a little bit more appealing rather than looking at two slightly balding, graying, bearded men talk about aircraft maintenance. I'd rather be in the wheel well, in the bowels of an airplane, looking for things that just aren't quite right. And that's probably a good roll in to allow you to talk about some of your inspection and your safety culture, how you instill this safety culture throughout your organization. And you have 50 some odd mechanics working under you.
Just at Harrisburg alone, yes, and it's a corporate-wide mission, safety. We teach it from day one. If we hire an AMT, they're going to come in and they're going to go through an NDOT course, and then they're going to do a 4 to 5 week course, which is our aircraft, our Embraer EMB 145 aircraft, and they're going to go to Harrisburg International Airport, my hangar, and they're going to work on an aircraft. And right from square one, they're going to learn about the safety of what's needed. You're going to get up and work on an engine. You've got to get up on the pylon, hook up to a harness. Make sure that you've got your safety glasses on when you're in the wheel well. It's taught from square one, safety, safety, safety. And that's part of why this industry is so reliable. That's why we see there's so many so little mishaps with our aviation industry in the United States is because of the critical safety message that we're putting out.
Tell you what, talking about safety classes in the wheel well, one way to really drive that point home is to get somebody that is known not to be a proponent of safety classes. Get them into looking up, just grab a hose, shake it a couple times. They'll learn real quick why you wear safety glasses.
Yes.
I mean, it hurts. I mean, get stuff in your eye. Ask me how I know.
3,000 PSI of sky drawing in the eyes is not a good thing.
Oh man, it'll hurt you too.
Yes, it will.
But I am really excited about all the opportunities that we have and that people don't realize. And you can make a good living, but it's not all about money. It's not everything is all about money. Money helps you have things and take care of things, but it's a feeling of satisfaction from a pilot standpoint, knowing that when you land and the aircraft can be used again, and you safely got somebody from point A to B, that's a big success factor. Maintenance, tell me about it.
Absolutely. Goes right back to the satisfaction of watching that airplane take off in the morning after you worked on it that night, and knowing that we just replaced that engine. I took that aircraft down to the run-up pad, ran it high power, checked all the parameters, trimmed it, made sure that it's ready to go, and it takes off in the morning. There she goes, and you've got 50 people on that airplane on the way to their vacation or to their meeting, and you know that they're getting there safely. You've signed the logbook saying, I, Joe Schmo, fixed this engine, and it's working per our maintenance manuals. And the maintenance manuals will give you step-by-step direction on how to go ahead and replace that engine, trim it, and then all the safety factors that are involved. There are large notes, cautions, danger, bold types in there that tell you the personal protective equipment or PPE that you're going to need to perform a task. But it's all about, at the same time, knowing that the people on that aircraft that you just fixed are safe. They're going to get where they need to be.
And Mike, we're going to share something else with the folks that they didn't realize they were going to learn all of this today, but you actually, you give the engine a haircut? You do a trim or what?
Trim. That's actually tuning up the engine. If we replace an engine, we have to what we call trim it. It's making sure that all the parameters, the temperatures inside the engine, the RPMs are exactly where they need to be.
The adjustments.
Right.
The
per
rigging.
the manufacturer's specifications, correct. The rigging.
Yeah, it's there's so much that we can take for granted, and I tell you another thing that we take for granted is boarding that aircraft as a passenger, and knowing that you can have folks on the other end wherever you're going expect you to be there and get your bags and then go wherever you're going. We tend to get a little bit complacent about that because it's been so reliable for so long. It's very unusual, highly unusual. The FAA is there to ensure the safety of the traveling public. And they do that through folks like you. You're a certified mechanic. I'm a certified mechanic. We have a responsibility to the industry, same as pilots do, to do things and do it right. Follow the book, follow the manuals, follow the regulations, or what we call standards. It's just a standard way of doing business.
And it's neat that you should mention that. Piedmont Airlines has a very close relationship with our FSDO, or Flight Standards District Office, which is in Baltimore, PWI.
Mike, you're not giving me a chance to interrupt you and say, tell us what FSDO means, okay?
I apologize. A Flight Standards District Office, it's the FAA that oversees whatever district an airline might be working out of. For Piedmont Airlines, our headquarters is in Salisbury, Maryland, so our FSDO is at BWI, Baltimore Washington International. We have a very close working relationship with our FSDO. We're on a one-on-one basis with our inspectors, with our primary maintenance adjusters, the directors. In addition to that, we invite them to the majority of our meetings that we have. We have 7 maintenance locations, so we have a lot of meetings that are over what we use Teams, and the FAA is on board with all of those so that they know exactly what's going on with us. It's important that airlines have a very close relationship with their local FAA, so that we are on the same page with safety and making sure that people can get complacent with flying on an airplane and not worry about, there's something wrong with the airplane.
It's a good problem to have as far as our passengers being complacent.
Right.
But our job is to get them there in one piece and to be able to use the airplane again. It's Mike, I can't really explain to you the importance that we feel here at Florida Aviation Network of sharing this information and the numbers that are projected of the needs. And if you want a job in aviation, you might want to think about becoming an aircraft maintenance technician or mechanic. And there's always that feud about, is it a mechanic or a technician, this, that. It depends, whatever you want to call it. We're maintenance folks. We fix things. We repair things. We hopefully fix things that unfortunately have been broken. Thank you, John. But it's so, I mean, I love to hear people say that I can't find a job. I can't find a job. How do we respond to that from Piedmont when they say, I can't figure out a way to, here we're using that C word again,
Yeah,
can't.
right.
But they can get a job with an organization, if not Piedmont, someone similar to, maybe not as good as, but what makes an airline good as opposed to one that might be considered not so good?
Well, from a maintenance standpoint, what we're looking for in a mechanic or a technician, however you want to word it, is someone who is resourceful, which we talked about earlier, the person that can find the job, they can find the career that they want, they can go online, again, and research. We have our own website, Piedmont Careers. If you're interested in being an aviation maintenance technician or a mechanic, it's just a matter of getting online or picking up your phone and dialing in what you want. Be aggressive, be assertive, and know deep in your heart that that's what you want to do. And that's what we're looking for, and that's what we're finding as well. There are so many shortages, like you were saying, now is the time. Now is the time to get involved in aviation maintenance technology with the shortage of mechanics that's coming in. All the older folks are getting ready to retire and fly on the airplanes to Disney World all the time. So,
well, and we have an obligation, us long in tooth, to encourage and bring out the positive aspects. And we're not going to bring up anything negative today, but we are here for safety. And the antithesis of safety is dangerous. Do you allow your mechanics to do anything dangerous in the hangar?
no.
That's a loaded question.
No.
Yeah, there's a few things we let them get away with, but no.
No. We have specific safety procedures and policies that they're strict, and we enforce them. Wing walkers, making sure that we're not going to back the airplane into a beam on a hangar. We call that hangar rash. People might not realize this, but an intake of an engine is deadly. You walk in front of an engine while it's turning, you're going to go through the engine. We've got safety outlines around the aircraft, making sure that the people are so far away with an engine turning. There are procedures, what's happening with the aircraft, how close can you get to it. Again, when we're working on our engines, we're up on a pylon. We have fall arrest gear on so that we can't fall off the pylon. Can't think of anything dangerous other than drinking the coffee. That's that's the only dangerous thing I could think about.
That can get you spooled up.
Yep.
The importance of preparing yourself to be an aircraft mechanic, and you don't have to be perfectly fit and trim. It helps when you have to get up early in the morning, but take good care of yourself. Hygiene, manners. There's certain things that you need to bring to the table. And people, why does a mechanic have to have manners? Well, you got to work with people, and you got to know how to work with people and interact with people. And I've used the word people several times here. It's important to me. How important are your people to you, Mike?
They're critical. We can't get along without our people. They're the most important asset that we've got. We want to make sure that they're happy, they're safe. We want a nice working environment. Again, we want them going home wanting to come back to work tomorrow night. We want to make sure that it's a second home for them. We don't want to hear. I don't want anybody saying, "Oh, I've got to go back to work tonight." Oh man, I want them to want to come back to work. I want the environment to be appealing. You know, you spend a third of your life at work, a third of your life at play, and a third of your life at sleep. That's probably not the same as what it used to be years and years ago. So if you're asleep a third of your life and miserable a third of your life, what's the point? You have to be happy in what you do. So we want to make sure that you have that happy work environment, and you're part of a family, and you're needed, and you're wanted, and you're cared for.
Well, and this is just Piedmont Airlines, and I'm going to open it up to the industry. Most all airlines, they realize the importance of proper maintenance. We're just fortunate enough to have just one member of that industry here talking with us today. And again, we're going to get more into segment 2 about more how you go about getting this training, and we have a secret to share with you. Should I share the secret now, or should I?
It's up to you, however you want to do it.
Let's hold off a little
Okay.
bit. And the secret will give you actually a job at Piedmont. But it's a secret. And we'll share that probably at the end of the second segment after we give you your wings credit code. Don't forget the code for wings credit. And we want to thank the FAA for their support, and they're basically, well, we kind of cut our teeth here at the Florida Aviation Network with the FAA, and we don't ever forget our roots, and it's very, very important that we maintain a certain esprit de corps. And this is where, again, in the second segment, Mike, we'll come back and talk about that a lot more. And we are going to, are we ready? Are we ready? I think we're ready. We're not there yet? Okay. Mike, before we end the first segment, give us a go away. Give us a go away of before we get to the second segment. Not to put you on the spot.
That's all right.
Just like we rehearsed it, okay?
Okay. The go away here is that we need aircraft mechanics. The entire world is getting into a shortage of aircraft maintenance technicians or mechanics. If this is something that interests you, now's the time to get involved. Get online, do some research, see if this career field will be for you. It's an extremely rewarding career. It's a fun career. If you get involved with an airline that puts you in a position where you're working nose to tail, you're not going to have the same work every night or every day that you go to work. You're going to be doing something different. You're going to learn the entire aircraft, and you're going to enjoy what you're doing, and you're going to want to come back at the end of the day and say, I'm ready to go back to work. I can't wait to have a night tonight and find out exactly what I've got waiting for me.
That pretty well wraps up segment 1, Mike, but we're going to, again, drill much deeper into this in segment 2. Excellent. I can't wait for it. So on behalf of the Florida Aviation Network, we're going to put you on standby as we have all the things turn in the background to go to segment 2 in just a few minutes.